Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kate Beckwith. I'm a senior manager, in fact, in our tax practice here in PwC UK. Um, I'm also one of the producers for the PwC pantomime. I'll just let the numbers tick up a little bit as we wait for people to join, and then we'll get started. Um, but I'm so looking forward to telling you all about what we do, why we do the pantomime, or Panto as we call it, and the impact that this pretty crazy idea has. There are a number of people across the firm who are involved. I'm delighted to be joined by some guests who we'll introduce in a second, but we'll just wait for a few more people to join us, and then we will get started. Fantastic. Right, let's kick off, shall we? Thanks again so much to everyone who's joining us here for a really special broadcast. I am sure that if you were on this and you were asked to describe what does PwC do, Panto would probably be a very, very good answer. It's not what you typically expect. However, we've been doing this for 37 years and it's still going strong. I'm delighted to say that plans and preparations for our next show are already well underway, and we can't wait to welcome back so many people to see it in January. However, before we get started, I'm delighted to be joined by lots of guests. So before we get into it, let's get them to introduce themselves. So let's start with Alex Rudman. Could you introduce yourself, please? No, no problem. We will go to Brian. Brian, perhaps you could introduce yourself for us.
Hi, Kate, and thank you for those of you who are in the Panto community who are listening. You might know me already, but I'm Brian Henderson. I'm one of the partners at PwC, but I'm also the executive producer of the pantomime.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Brian. And Richard, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Richard Bodu. Sort of like participated in PwC Panto for 4 years, and I'm a software engineer here at PwC.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Richard. I can see that Alex is having a little bit of trouble with her microphone at the moment. So we'll get Alex to introduce herself perhaps later on. We are delighted to be joined by Alex Rudman, who's here from the charity Become, who we have partnered up with in the past, and she'll be coming on later just to talk about the impact that has had. But first, Brian, let's go over to you. So as the executive producer for this amazing initiative, could you tell us a little bit about how did PwC Panto come to be? What are its origins?
Very happy to, Kate, and I'm going to draw heavily on something that one of our fabulous Panto community did for us around the 35th anniversary. So there are a lot of stories about how Panto came about, but I think one of our fabulous community members, Marilyn Ambrose, collated a big anthology of the history of Panto a couple of years ago. I think essentially right from the start of Panto, back in autumn 1986 for a 1987 pantomime, there was an idea to support the community by taking kids to the theatre, or that eventually evolved into putting on a show. I think a small group of people who were with the firm at the time, which included one of the PAs to our senior partner, the chauffeur to the senior partner, along with one of the seminar managers and a member of our marketing team, they kind of collaborated on coming up with the idea of doing this fabulous show. Now, it started off with relatively humble beginnings as an idea, but even in that first year, we did 3 shows in a 350-seat theatre over in East London, but with the idea of supporting charities and the local community in introducing the arts to people who might not otherwise have that opportunity. So as Kate, as you've already said, over the last kind of 37 years, that's evolved into quite a monumental effort. We now do 12 shows, 8 of which are in a West End theatre, 4 of which are in a regional theatre, and our annual audience has evolved from maybe a few hundred up to about 12,000 a year. And I think it's fair to say, I know we've got a few of the community joined today, but that PwC Panto community of staff and alumni is now into the hundreds. So it's a pretty big undertaking.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. I've been a part of it now for 8 years, and it really is amazing. And you mentioned there about the regional tour as well that we do. Brian, what has been some of your sort of favourite experiences from Panto and some of the people that we've been able to work with?
Yeah, so I mean, personally, I've done quite a lot of things. I mean, I've been the executive producer for a few years now, so slightly more off stage, supporting you and Danny and Katie and the production team, but also having taken overall responsibility for things for the firm. But I've done quite a lot of things on stage. So my first year, I think everyone remembers their first year in Panto, but I do remember covering my very bald head with green face paint to be a zombie in the original production of Beauty and the Beast that I was involved in, and I loved it. So that first kind of show, the thrill of performing for the kids and just the thank yous that you get from the charities and from the kids that just they're absolutely blown away by what we do to support them. That really does make it, and I think that theme keeps coming back for lots of people who've been involved, whether that's on stage, behind the stage, front of house. I think everyone has that same thought. I mean, in terms of how we've helped, I think there's probably three key reasons why we do what we do, and I think the first thing is absolutely to support the community. I think it's been a factor of the Panto since we first started to bring along kids from underprivileged schools or from charities to give them access to the arts, which we think is a really important thing. Not necessarily the first thing you'd think about with a firm of accountants and tax advisors, but actually we are passionate about the arts and we want to bring that to as wide a community as possible. I think the second thing, and part of the reason that we're here today, is that direct support to charities. So for a number of years now, we've had a charity partner, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But we want to work with charities, support and promote them because of all the good work that they do, and essentially to help them to raise funds. We do choose a different charity normally every year, depending on who's active in the space, who we haven't worked with before, who we hear about, who we get recommendations from our community. But it's a really important fundamental part of what we do. I think the final thing, before I stop talking too much, is the supporting and developing our people. It's a monumental undertaking, and I think that Panto is a great leveler. So whether you're the senior partner in the firm doing a cameo, as Kevin Ellis has done for a number of years, or you're a relatively new member of the team where you're helping, front of house or backstage or in the workroom of wardrobe, I think everyone gets something from it, and it's a really great thing to do for our staff.
It is. Thank you so much, Brian. And of course, you mentioned there's some of the different teams involved. We have a band, we make our own costumes, the props, the crew, the cast, even down to the script as well that's written by members of our community. It really is an all hands on deck sort of community. We all really pitch in and try and learn new skills along the way. You mentioned we work with charities. I think Alex has been able to come through her microphone issue. So Alex, could you introduce yourself for us, please? And we would love to hear how it has been for Become working with PwC Panto.
Hiya, thank you. I really appreciate the introduction and patience on the tech issues there. So my name's Alexandra Rudman and I'm the Corporate Partnerships Manager for Become, the national charity for children in care. And we were your charity partner for the Babes in the Wood Panto last year, which was an absolutely incredible experience for us all at Become. Being the first ever partnership that I had the privilege of managing, the PwC Panto set the bar extremely high from start to finish. There was utter dedication and commitment from all involved. It was just phenomenal to see the 37 years of polished, perfected performances just oozed from the stage. And, I've spent good money in years gone by and seen far worse. There are some really, really incredibly talented people at PwC. Oh, yes, there is. Sorry, I did have to do it at least once, folks, while we're on here. But aside from raising thousands and thousands of pounds in donations and providing the opportunity for many children and other charities to come and watch the Panto, PwC helped us to, really highlight the importance of our work at Become. with over 80,000 children in care in England today, and over 11,000 young care leavers every year, leaving a system that, in all honesty, does very little to support them at just 18 years old. The support that we've received from PwC will really help us to continue in our mission to provide services that can, truly enable a young person to chase their goals, to achieve the success that they deserve, to step into the milestones that many of us do, and to thrive. The support that we have received has been incredible, but it drives forward those incredible services that we have, from coaching to the care advice line, from our magazine to Link Up Socials. We've been there to support care experience young people for the last 30 years. And programs like Propel, we aim to change national statistics as we grow and expand this leg of our service. So for anyone who's not aware of Propel is a complete guide, step by step, accessing higher and further education as a care experienced young person. Now, national statistics in 2022 indicated that 38% of care leavers between 19 and 21 are not in education, employment or training. Now, at Become, we firmly believe that care experienced people are capable of far more than the limitations of their foundations. Propel is changing the statistics as we speak and working alongside campuses all over the UK. We firmly do want to make changes, but, with access to filling out applications and what are my rights and entitlements as a care experienced student, it can be overwhelming. We're there to help them access those answers and that support and find their designated contacts, and to essentially, just help young people with care experience to unleash their potential, take control of their lives. And as an individual who was once on the other end of the phone, seeking support as a care experienced person, from attending Link Up to providing a laptop for my studies, Become has supported many, and I honestly feel honoured to just be one of those along the way. Albeit my time in care was many years ago, without actually giving my age away too much. I was fortunate to be allocated social housing at 16 years old, and navigating homelessness when thrust into independence, being just 16, not surprisingly, it was a heavy load to bear. And, in those early years, first couple of years, homelessness nearly engulfed me a couple of times. But establishing a career after a childhood of, missed educational opportunities was like being a salmon swimming upstream. And many children in care, obviously, are still experiencing this to today, in the way in which I was many, many years ago. So our campaign, Gone Too Far, really highlights this. And I do urge everyone to check it out on our social media platforms. But true testament to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. A home created the base for me to succeed, and somewhere to call home was essential in creating a successful life. Unlike when I left care 10, 15 years ago, that stability is just not available for young people now. Or let's be honest, many of us as a whole in society, there are over 274,000 people that are homeless today. But 26% of those are care experienced, There's over 89,000 people in prison today, and 24% of them are care experienced, yet we only make up 1% of the entire population. Now, with the help and support of PwC, your spectacular fundraising efforts for the Panto, we can continue to be there to support children in care and young care leavers in a way that we always have.
And we're so pleased, Alex. It was one of our proudest, to be able to partner with you. It really was. And it sounds like a lot has changed for you personally, since you first reached out to Become and now to be on the other side. Sounds amazing. And what I'd love to hear as well is, working with us, was there any sort of particular phase of the journey you really enjoyed? We hope coming to see the show was good, but was there anything else sort of around how we've worked with you that we've done well, or is there anything we can do a bit better?
Yes, most definitely. From the moment that I walked into the PwC building, I could feel that your culture was really where it needed to be, from witnessing, bring your child into work days to the cake sales and just the camaraderie and just the togetherness. It was the people that I've managed to work with over the last matter of months, to bring this to what we achieved with the donations and the incredible performances. Yes, we cannot forget those. But, overall, I genuinely feel feel that your drive to support people as an organisation is certainly testament to the feeling that I had when I was walking in, and just feeling what a wonderful environment that you have on a professional level to work in. I think it was a great opportunity just to kind of experience a partnership at its very, very best on my initial phases into corporate partnerships. So thank you. It's been a great ride, PwC.
Oh, Alex, thank you. Well, we're obviously so pleased to hear that, and of course, for so many of us involved, not just in the pantomime, but across the firm, we always talk about the people. So it's so pleased that you've had the same experience. The bake sale that we did in collaboration with Become was one of our favourite things as well. The cakes were delicious. Some very talented bakers as well as performers and crew members in our community. So we're so pleased. Alex, thank you so much. What's your sort of social handles? Do you want to just quickly share those before we move on?
So Become very active on LinkedIn. We're also on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. We've just started out Threads, and also we've got the website, which is a wealth of knowledge for anyone that's working alongside care experienced people, or obviously care experienced young people themselves.
Fantastic. Thank you. So Threads is, of course, very new. I need to get myself ready for Threads. Thank you so much, Alex. Well, of course, we do choose a different charity partner with each performance. So as we depart from Babes in the Wood and our partnership with Become, Brian, can I come back to you? Could you possibly introduce not just this year's show, but also our new charity partner for this year?
Yeah, so I maybe accidentally gave away this year's show earlier on, but the show's come round again. But this year we are very, very excited to be doing Beauty and the Beast, and Zane, our director, and his team are not I was going to say locked away, coming up with the creative vision for that right now. We're very much in progress of the preparing for the show now. But without further ado, I'm very excited to reveal with jazz hands that our charity partner for next year will be Red Balloon. And we are delighted to have Karen Turner from Red Balloon here with us today to tell us a little bit more. She can do a lot more justice around what Red Balloon do than I ever could. So Karen, would you like to tell us a bit about the charity and say a little bit more for us?
Thank you, Brian. I'd absolutely love to. I'm Karen. I'm the fundraising and marketing lead at Red Balloon Educational Trust, and I'm so delighted to be here today. So Red Balloon Educational Trust provides alternative education for young people aged 11 to 18 who are unable to attend mainstream school due to mental health issues, bullying, trauma, or even neurodiversity. So these are young people that really want to be at school. They want to be making friends and being involved, but their needs are such that they just can't do it. So they may repeatedly show up to the front door, but just not be able to make it out of the car and into the school. And schools are absolutely doing their best with the resources they have available, but sadly, there will always be cases where they just can't meet students' needs. And then those young people will just stop attending. And very quickly, they are completely lost from the education system, and their future starts to look really bleak. That's where Red Balloon comes in. So we provide a tailored education that puts the individual student at the heart. And we provide education, mental health support, and social re-engagement. And that's all based around the students' individual needs and their aims and their goals. So we actually started in 1996, specifically for bullied children, but we quickly found that our holistic approach worked really well for other issues where students needed extra support. So we're currently supporting our students in both physical centres, but also with an online centre. And our physical centres support up to 25 students per building, and they're based in converted homes or similar locations, so they really don't feel like schools at all. And we also have an online centre called Red Balloon of the Air, and they support students in a blended way. So they provide both online sessions as well as face-to-face sessions when the students have built the skills and the confidence they need to attend in person. But whether online or in person, our sessions are all quite similar. They're small, they are one-to-one, up to small groups of 4 to 6. And the staff have the knowledge and the flexibility to change and adapt the sessions to meet the needs of each student in that session. And we also offer therapy as part of each student's timetable, and all our staff are involved in supporting mental health. So it's just a normal part of each student's day and their week to get that kind of support. And when students first join us, many of them have been out of school for months or even years, and some haven't left their homes or really even their bedrooms during that time. And when they're not going to school or leaving the house, their circles get smaller and smaller, and they become socially isolated and lonely. And that only makes the barriers even more difficult to overcome. Because if you're not going out, you're not meeting people, then suddenly having to do that feels absolutely overwhelming. So at Red Balloon, we know these students can't suddenly come back to attending full time. So we meet them where they are. We help to support them with building up their confidence and learning again, in building up their social skills, and to feel comfortable coming into the centres or logging in online. So they become part of our community and they have a place they belong with us. But our aim is not for them to stay with us forever. As they're ready, we support them to move on from Red Balloon, whether that's going back to school or sixth form, or onto higher education, apprenticeship, or even onto work. And that's really our final aim. And it's to make sure that our students have the skills, the qualifications, the coping mechanisms, and the confidence to rejoin their peers once more.
Amazing. Oh, Karen, it sounds like you're doing some amazing work there. I'm sort of interested as well, touching on the fact that we've all been through a massive amount of change and we've all, come through the other side of a pandemic. Was there a big impact from the pandemic, particularly for some of these children that you've worked with?
Yeah, absolutely. I think probably a lot of schools are seeing this as well as us, that the pandemic had such a huge impact on us all, not only as individuals, but across the whole UK. And we're really seeing students struggling now. So the Centre for Social Justice do sort of a report on absences each term. And we're seeing that after the pandemic, the number of students who are absent from school more than their present, so that's an absence of 50% or more, has increased to 125,000 students a year. And we're also seeing that there's 1.7 million students whose attendance has dropped below 70%. So these are absolutely phenomenal numbers. This has doubled since before the pandemic. So we're really seeing any issues that students were having starting to surface and become more difficult after they've been through this huge pandemic, unusual event.
A huge amount of upheaval, absolutely. And so, we're hoping obviously to raise money for Red Balloon as we partner with you. What will the funds be used for?
So the funds will go towards supporting our students. We're also at the moment, as you said, because of the growing need from the pandemic, we are expanding at the moment. So we're going to be opening a new centre in Norfolk this year. And our online school has also expanded into Peterborough recently. So we are growing. And so any money raised will go to helping support even more of young people in the UK who are really in need of our help.
Amazing. And Karen, I'm sure there'll be people listening who, similar to with Become as well, we've just done Become's website and socials. Do you want to share Red Balloon's website and socials just so that if anyone wants to come and have a look and find out more, they can?
Oh, absolutely. So our website is redballoonlearner.org, and our socials we are on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram as @RedBalloonEducation, and we're on Twitter as @RedBalloonEdu.
Fantastic. Oh, thank you so much, Karen. It's been so lovely talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you and Alex. Honestly, it's one of our proudest, one of our proudest pieces is being able to work with different charities every year. And you've both just been absolutely wonderful. So thank you. It would be also great. Brian touched right at the beginning about, the impact it has for all of those at PwC who are also involved. And there is, over 200 people each year. So we had to whittle that down and pick someone. And Richard is joining us. Richard, could you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in Panto? It sounds like, do you think from what you said in your introduction, quite a long, far away change and direction from your day job?
Yes, I'm a software engineer, and I absolutely love dancing and love performing. And as soon as I saw the sort of like PwC Panto being advertised, I was like, you know what, I've got to at least try it out. And then someone actually within PwC also said, "Oh, Richard, did you know there was a Panto?" And I was like, "Okay, this is very interesting." So I tried it out, auditioned. Luckily, I got in and I had absolutely a blast of a time. I just think it's the most amazing thing about PwC. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a lot of fun. And I would also like to sort of like give back and do volunteering. And this was a nice way of having that combination of the arts, giving back, and also, you know, doing some, you know, engineering as well. So it's like my whole world all in one place. Is absolutely amazing. Absolutely love it.
Amazing. And of course, we're quite lucky because in addition to some of our front of house vols who work in the theatre, getting the kids safely in and out, being in the cast and being in the band and crew, you get to see right into the audience, don't you? The children's reactions. What does it mean to you to see some of the kids from schools and charities coming? What's it like to see their faces when you're performing?
It's absolutely amazing. I just thrive off the energy. You know, when I'm dancing, I like to pull faces at the kids as well, and they're all screaming and shouting. And you know, I do a backflip as well, and the kids just the screams after that. It's just absolutely amazing. Just to see the joy on those kids' faces. It's an absolutely brilliant feeling, and the buzz that you get off it as well is absolutely amazing.
Incredible. And of course there are links as well to sort of some of the skills it gives us that we take back to our day job. Have you sort of taken anything else away from Panto that isn't just about the performing nature? Is there anything else that's come into your day job a bit more?
Yeah, I think when you're sort of like in front of clients and you're super nervous and you have to present a presentation, you've got to sort of perform a bit, right? So I draw on those skills.
Amazing. It definitely is one of those confidence boosters. And I don't know about yourself and Brian, but I found the network has been fantastic because we have lots of people like yourself, Richard, software engineers, we have communication specialists, auditors who take some time out of their busy season period to come and take part. It's really amazing to see that network build. Brian, have you seen that network really grow over the years?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I joined the firm, when I joined the Panto community, I was a manager, which isn't obviously the most junior member of staff, but I certainly didn't have a rounded set of skills that I needed to go out and be an audit partner. So my personal network, I always talk about Panto as being, it's not 6 degrees of separation, it's about 2. If you can't call someone from the community who is in a part of the firm that you need, then it takes generally 2 calls before someone knows someone who does, and that's, you know, hugely powerful for all of our people in being supported, but also for our clients and kind of what we do across all aspects of our work. So yeah, the network and the community is kind of at the heart of, you know, what we are as a firm, and I think it's one of the most fundamental reasons why I've got a lot from Panto as well.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much, both. It's been so amazing to talk with, you know, people on different sides of how we work as a PwC Panto community. We're getting down to the last minute, so I think that's all that's left is for me to say the most enormous thank you to all of you for joining in and listening and getting a flavour of something a little bit different here at PwC, and hopefully we'll see lots of you getting involved in the future. An enormous thank you to obviously our very special guests, Karen from Red Balloon and Alex from Become. It has been so lovely to work with you, Alex and Karen. We look forward so much to working with Red Balloon and raising funds as well over the course of the coming year. It really has been incredible to hear more about the fantastic work that both of your charities are doing. So I hope lots of people listening will go and find out more about what you're doing on the websites and social handles that we shared. Thanks again to everyone for listening. You can follow our progress, of course, as PwC Panto comes together. We slowly build from script all the way through to show. Do follow along on our PwC UK social channels as well, when we'll be sharing lots more stories over the course of the year. Oh, yes, you can, she says. Oh, I'm going to go steal Alex's Panto joke. Yes, you can. Have a great day, everybody. And thank you so much. And we'll see you again for another LinkedIn Live later on.